Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
800-848-9222. This was a story which I was very glad to see occur. I wasn't necessarily, shall I say, following it as much as I should have been. But it's very interesting. The Alexander brothers. Did you hear about them? The Alexander brothers. Real estate moguls, Tal and Orrin Alexander, and their brother Elon Alexander were found guilty in federal court of sex trafficking and related offenses, marking a dramatic fall for the once prominent luxury brokers. Now, why? Anyway, let me read this and then we can do the reaction. A jury returned guilty verdicts on all charges, including conspiracy to commit sex trafficking, inducement to travel to engage in unlawful sexual activity, and multiple counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. In his closing argument on March the 3rd, prosecutor Andrew Jones said the brothers masqueraded as party boys, but were really predators towards women. They used a consistent playbook to lure, isolate, and rape their victims. They did it with callousness and a perverse sense of pride. And there they are looking, laughing in their jumpsuits. Throughout the 4 weeks of testimony, Tal Orrin and Orrin's twin brother, Elon Alexander, who was an executive at his family's private security firm, vehemently denied the sex crime charges against them, as well as other allegations. Prosecutors allege the brothers orchestrated a years-long pattern of sexual abuse involving numerous women across multiple states. The defense argued that the encounters were consensual and that the government had overreached. 11 women, including several who said they were minors at the time of the incident, testified against their brothers, alleging they gave them gifts and flew them to locations and parties where they were given drugs before assaulting them. U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton said the verdict marks a significant step in combating sex crimes, calling the brothers' conduct calculated, brutal sexual abuse that unimaginably the defendants celebrated. Now, I've often wondered, first of all, anytime this type of activity is stopped, keep in mind, remember, Diddy, they found, he was acquitted on everything but the Mann Act violation, which was another thing altogether. But think about that one. Diddy walked, and others, Epstein sort of walked until they got him. This is such a big deal. This happens all the time. And not only that, it happens in terms of not only regular sex trafficking and the like, but labor. People who come, I know one particular case, a woman comes to this country from some other country, don't want to mention the country, but she's picked up. She thinks she's doing the right thing. She has families in her country vouch for this organization or this group. She gets out of the car at the airport. Next first thing they do is they grab their passport and they tell them, you're going to do what we say or else we will have you arrested because we know what's going on here. She's terrified. And it was labor trafficking. I'm sure it was sexual as well, but labor trafficking. What is your defense? I'm fascinated as a lawyer. What is your defense? What is your defense? These 11 women, they're wrong. They've all got it wrong. They've got it wrong. They're not paying attention. They have it in for these guys. They like this. They wanted this. I mean, what possibly could have been their defense? I find it fascinating. I can't figure out what it is. What could it possibly be? And you see, one thing which is the most interesting, and remember this all the time, the defense lawyer does not have any interest in proving innocence. Innocence doesn't exist. We talk about the presumption of innocence. That's a phrase. And that merely means that when you go to court, the prosecutor has the burden of proving guilt or non-guilt. The prosecutor does. And the reason for it is very, very simple. The prosecutor has that burden. And that burden is his, not the defendant's. The defendant doesn't have to prove anything. That's the presumption of innocence. Again, but the only time anybody ever uses that term.
At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in healthcare informatics, digital marketing and analytics, business analytics, or financial analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.